today I'll be talking about a few things that I find are the most important things when you use a GoPro. I'll start you off with battery savings. I'll show you how to remove the battery lid, and I'll explain later why it's important to know how to do that. We'll talk about the head mount versus the chest mount. I'll show you my favorite tripod that I'm using for all my shooting. Talk a little bit about the settings, about 1080 versus 2.7 and etc. And we'll have some fun outside. Beautiful day, so should be good. So let's take it outside first and see how it goes. All right, how do we save battery on a GoPro? Something very crucial for this little fine camera, because the battery is just not good. As any other electric device, it will always turn off exactly when you need it most. So let me show you a few tricks of how to extend the battery life, and then we'll go out and I'll show you some more. So we started with turning the camera on. The first thing we want to do is this. We'll go to we're actually here. When we're here already, what I do normally is disable this one, which is the voice control. Now, I know it's a personal preference, so you might need it if you're shooting, you're taking photos from a tripod or shooting or whatever. You might want to have this on. I personally don't. It consumes battery because it's something that constantly runs in the background, so I leave it up to you. Obviously, you can always switch it back on and off based on your needs. Now we're gonna go to connect, because that's the biggest battery consumer, and that's here, the wireless connection. Turn this one off. There is pretty much no reason for you to have it on, not that I can think of, and that really consumes battery. So turn it off. Again, you can always switch it back on and off based on your needs. And now we'll just go through the preferences, through the menus, and I'll show you some more options that you have. So going top to bottom, let's see what we have here. All right, sorry, beep volume. Is there a reason for you to have the beep volume? I don't like it. I normally will put it on, you can put it on low, that's not too bad. It doesn't consume tons of battery, but the less things you have, the better. So I'll keep it on low. Then the LED, which is the lights, which obviously consume some battery, I'll do all off because I don't really need them. Quick capture I leave on. Quick capture basically means that when you click on the shoot button, it starts working immediately and you don't have to power on the camera. I kind of like it this way, so I'm gonna leave it the way it is. Auto off, I use 15 minutes, which is a little bit extensive. I think you could use it on 5 minutes easily. I just like to keep it always on standby mode. So that works for me, but if you put it on 5, it's even better. Screensaver, same story. You can change the screensaver 1 minute, 2 minutes. I keep it on the lowest option possible because I don't need the screen to be on all the time. It consumes a lot of battery. Brightness as well, 100%. Huge battery eater, so I take it, again, personal preference, I take it down to 40. Looks fine, no problem there. And what else do we have here? GPS, definitely off. I never use it. It runs in the background and consumes battery, so you might need it. If you don't, take it out. And that's pretty much it. Don't press factory reset, that's not good for you. So this is it for the quick one. Oh yeah, there's one more actually, which is the resolution which you're filming on. And I don't know if everybody knows that, but I personally use the 1080-60 or 1080-30. 1080-60 is because I like to sometimes do some slow-mo and just tweak it a little bit later with post. But I also like to use 2.7 sometimes for higher resolution. However, the 2.7 consumes a little bit more battery than the 1080. Same goes for if you use the 4K, which is disabled now, but if you use 4K, it will consume yet more battery. I'm going to go later into the difference of the different types of video, a little bit on that, but my to-go is always going to be 1080, 30 or 60 and occasionally 2.7, and I'll do a little bit side by side later so you can see them. But in terms of battery saving, I'd recommend to keep it on the 1080 one. Okay, so now we learned a few tricks of how to increase the battery life when we're going out to do whatever we do out there with the GoPro. What I'm going to show you now is just an additional trick that you can use in order to make sure that you have some more juice when you're out there. Mind you that this is not going to work out when you need the GoPro to be waterproof, because we're going to remove the battery lid. So if you're going to do any kayaking or any diving or anything of that sort, ignore that part because you're going to wreck your camera. So what I'm going to show you now is how to remove the battery lid, which I know can be really tricky, and I know quite a few guys who remain with a broken battery cover. So we'll make sure that that doesn't happen. What you want to do first is to remove the housing, which is a pain, literally. So you're going to put your fingers here, you're going to break a couple of nails, and it always sounds like it's breaking. It doesn't. It's quite a strong thing, but yeah, it's not always very easy. Push the camera out, put that aside. The battery sits here under, and what you want to do is obviously open it. Now, the only way to remove that battery lid is this. First of all, you need to push this part out. Otherwise, you won't be able to open it. You push it out, and then in this position, right like this, you just push it towards you. And the reason that you need to do it like this is the form of how the angle of this thing here. See? It's not 90 degrees, it goes like that. And what's more importantly is putting it back. You see, it needs to latch onto this bar. So same thing, you just grab it here and you make sure that this part is out and you click it in. Right, let me show you again. So taking it out like this with your fingers that just counter against the camera, and then it's a little bit of fiddling, but don't push it too hard, because then you're going to end up breaking it. This is not a very strong piece. And then putting it back, again, quite simple. Make sure that it latches on the metal piece. Push it back in, you'll hear a little click. And there you go. And you close it back. Now I'm going to leave it out because I'm going to show you what happens when I'm on the water and my battery runs out, which happens very fast. We're going to use a power bank. I'll show you in a second. So for now, again, just like this angle, pull it out and keep it in a safe place. You don't want to lose this piece. You're going to cry if you do, so don't. One more thing that I heard, I can't confirm it yet, but I heard that the sound quality is getting a little bit better when you remove the battery. I'm not sure, I haven't tested it myself, so please leave me a comment if you agree, disagree, if you tried and it worked for you or didn't. Now with that said, let's go fishing. Okay, so my GoPro ran out of juice after an hour and a half of fishing. So I thought I'll show you what I'm doing here when that happens. Very simple. I take the lid of the battery out. I take a power bank with the charger of the GoPro. Just keep it on connected. This one goes on my chest. This one goes in my pocket. We're good to go for another 2 hours, something like that. And I'm taking a couple of those, so I'm good for a whole day of fishing, which can be very handy when you want a GoPro, especially if you're shooting on 2.7, because you know that you're gonna run out of juice really fast. And let me tell you about the tripod that I'm using, guys, because it's a great little thing. It's robust, it's not too expensive, it's about 50 euros, and after a lot of trial and error with different tripods, this is the one I chose. Let me show you what it is. So meet the trippler, in my opinion one of the best tripods out there. You might have seen it already on YouTube, there's a lot of different reviews, some are better than others. So you can pretty much expand the telescopic bar, the pole, from I think it's 19 centimeters all the way to 70. And what you can also do is adjust the legs, so you make it to the right height that you want, which makes it, in my opinion, a really good tripod. It also has this unit here for your mobile phone, when you can attach it to the pole with 3 different positions, and it can hold your phone really nice and steady. So I use it a lot to take geeky photos of me holding a fish, or just shoot some videos, or using it as an extra camera when I have my GoPro on my chest mount. And it's really perfect. I like especially because you can, use different heights, different positions. So it's pretty much all around. And you can also use it as I believe it's called a gripper for your vlogging or YouTube channel, if you will. And when I'm tired of the phone and I want to attach my GoPro, no problem. It comes also with the installation for the GoPro. It's pretty much all in one. And then when I'm completely tired with it, I just fold it back 20 centimeters. It's perfect in the bag, as you can see. And off you go. Now let me talk you through real quick on the differences between the chest mount and the head mount. I'm a big supporter of the chest mount, I'll get to it in a second, and I hate the head mount. And the reason I don't like the head mount is this. First of all, because you look like a schmuck. I'm sure you agree. I don't want to stand on the bank or on the boat or alone at home or anywhere wearing this. It's not comfortable, and you got a camera on top. It's a personal preference, I get it. Some people love it, some people love the angle of it. It's not for me. I do have an alternative. I just took a cap, drilled screw through it, and this is not a GoPro, this is a cheapest replica, but it works. And what I do is this. So if I really want to go with a headshot, just put it like that. See, it does the job. But I just don't want to wear it all day. So what I do is this. This is perfect. Let me show you a little bit better. So the chest mount, it's right centered like this, and I think it's perfect. And that's how I shoot all my videos, pretty much. It's also really comfortable. Sits nice. Can do that for a whole day, no problem. So that's my take on that. And there's like a gazillion videos about the differences between chest mount and head mount, so just go find one and see the one that you like best. This is really, I find it a real personal preference. So you just have to do what works best for you, that's it. This is some footage that I filmed by mounting my GoPro into a remote control boat. So I'll take you through the pros and cons of using some different resolutions. However, I gotta say that there are hundreds of videos on YouTube which are dedicated to the topic, so I'm just gonna keep it short. I'm going to leave a description and the exact settings that I'm using for my GoPro, and then you'll have also a link to the full movie I made with the GoPro on the RC boat, so you can watch it later. So starting with 4K, this is the highest resolution to film on, and it will give you a great and smooth footage, which looks great. However, it has quite some limitations, which are the reason I hardly ever film using this resolution. First of all, it eats your memory card due to the size of the files. And secondly, it also eats a lot of battery. Then if these two are not enough to already, avoiding using 4K, it also is limited to just a wide view. And it takes much longer to download the files from the GoPro to the computer, and then in case you need to edit it, it's really just not comfortable to use with the editing problem. Can freeze your computer, it just takes a lot of memory. And to top it all up, a lot of people, a lot of viewers they don't have a phone or a computer that supports 4K. So honestly, why even bother? So the resolution that I'm using mostly for pretty much all my filming is 1080 with 60 frames per second. And I'm pretty sure that this is the most commonly used resolution as well on YouTube. The reason is that the files are just not too big, and it's really easy to use with post, with editing, and you can do some cool things with that, especially on the 60 frames per second, like slow motion and stuff. So again, it's just really user-friendly, and as you can see, the image is still quite great. You could also use 2.7, which is a high resolution of 1080, but to be honest, can you even tell the difference? I personally don't really find it such a big deal, so I just stick to the 1080 resolution, which does the job. So we're good for today, guys. I think I got you basically what you need as a beginner, at least. So yeah, basically you should go out there and experiment. You should grow with your equipment and understand how it works and try different things and new things, watch more videos, and just grow with it. This should just get you started. So all I can say is go out there, have fun, and enjoy.
Well, just before you leave, subscribe. I'd really appreciate it.
Bye now.